Hello, career thought leaders. It's good to see you here today. And we are talking about the LinkedIn algorithm and what really matters for us and for our clients as we're starting to use LinkedIn in 2024. And maybe some of the things you've noticed already that we can talk about are continuing to impact us. And really, how do you make this tool work for you? And how do you help it work for your clients to achieve their goals? That's what we're going to talk about today. So we are here every Tuesday talking about the now, the new, and the next in careers. And of course, we're leading up to our symposium in Lisbon, April of this year, the 10th through the 12th. We're going to be in Lisbon. We still have a few spots open if you're interested in joining us. I'll drop that link into the chat in a little bit. I know that some of you don't get to see the chat, so I did drop the information for what we're going to be talking about today, which is the algorithm report from Richard Van de Bloom. I dropped that into your comments there in LinkedIn just a moment ago, and hopefully you can see it there showing up in Facebook and YouTube. So we are live every Tuesday, as I said, talking about the now, the new, and the next. If you want to get those announcements, you can follow us on LinkedIn, our company page, or you can grab our YouTube URL and go over there and like and subscribe so that you get notified every time we go live on Tuesdays. So what's going on with the LinkedIn algorithm and how is it going to impact your work? Well, big picture here in the very beginning of the algorithm report, Richard shares that 95% of people that write, creators, I don't know that all of us consider ourselves creators, but 95% of people have seen a drop in their visibility. So how many people are seeing their posts as well as their engagement on the platform, which I've heard from a few people. It's frustrating. It's one of those things that you're like, is it worth posting anymore? We're going to talk today about how you can make posting maybe more valuable, but one of the other things or two of the other things you want to do on LinkedIn to really improve your results. And of course, views and likes and those types of things are important. But what most of us are really using LinkedIn for is either to garner a connection that will lead to a job for our clients or maybe even for ourselves, or to build the noticeability, the visibility that leads someone to reach out to us and do business with us. And I know that many of you say that that's how you get your business. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit today as well. Go ahead and say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from and what you've been seeing as you're posting on LinkedIn. How has it changed for you? Are you seeing that drop in engagement and views or not? And what might we do to help ourselves with that? How can we help make those numbers as good as possible, and especially achieving the end goals we want to achieve, like getting a job, building that relationship that leads to a referral, or getting business for our small business? That's what we're here to talk about, right? Don't just use LinkedIn for fun. We use it for a purpose, and there are some specific things we can do to make it more effective. One of the things that we're seeing a lot of talk about right now, that for those of us in our digital branding class, we've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years now, is the importance of comments. And you might go on someone's post like Richard Van de Bloom, who puts out the algorithm report every year, maybe every 6 months now. You might go on his stuff and you see he's got hundreds of likes and hundreds of comments. And you think, oh, why doesn't that happen for me? You look at his audience size, you might even say, okay, he gets this percent. I'm not even close to that. Here's one thing that you might not notice. He does post about it every once in a while, but he posts that he comments on 10 posts a day, every single day, and sometimes even more. So he's commenting on hundreds, literally, right? He's commenting on hundreds of posts every month, close to that every week. So he's getting that back in reciprocity, just the natural flow of things, and in the algorithm, because that's what the algorithm likes, is it shows you content you've engaged on, and it shows you content from people that have engaged on your comments. So the number one thing that I'm telling coaching clients that I'm talking to is, before you even worry about posting, start commenting. Now, this is one of the things that is hard for people to do, and I've been working with some coaching clients on it. And if you help people with this, I would start talking about it more because I'm telling them, let's go find some folks for you to comment on their posts. And that's a challenge. It's a challenge in the search features, and we go through all the different ways you can search to find people who are actively posting. Give you one little nugget of sweetness here. Going to those collaborative articles that we're not quite sure what value they play right now, but you can find the whole list of topics under the Pulse articles, still called Pulse, which is funny because that's like so 10 years ago on LinkedIn, right? But Pulse topics is how they've um, itemized or categorized all of those collaborative articles. So in that, you can find all the topics. And what I'm doing with people is helping them find topics that are specific related to their stuff, right? Their industry, their knowledge. So we're not out there trying to comment on or find people that are commenting on big, huge posts like career and resume, but we're finding things, these little pockets of specific industry conversations that are going on in those collaborative articles. And we're using that as a place to find people that they can network with on LinkedIn because those people are obviously very active. They've got posts that people can comment on, or they've got collaborative article comments that people can react to, share, do all those things that help us keep the conversation going. So we're looking for ways to start commenting before we even worry about posting, because the algorithm rewards those comments by showing our content to other people. But even more than that, we start to build a relationship with people in the comments that then leads to other things. We also build our visibility by commenting on posts, by responding to comments on posts, when we're really thoughtful about finding those things that are in our industry, that are in our information bubble, right? So we've got to know what those pillars, or we call them digital drivers, we've got to know that type of content we want to engage with, and then we start doing that. So I'd love to hear if you have seen an increase once you started commenting more, if you see an increase in your visibility, in your engagement, because you are now engaged. It's that kind of give to get mentality works in the LinkedIn algorithm as well. So we're seeing some people have seen that they saw some drop in their engagement and drop in their visibility. So let's see if we can get some of that back and maybe get back what really matters when we start using comments to build that back up. Now, then his algorithm goes through each kind of post and the best way to do each type of post. What I would say around this is do what works for you that also works for the algorithm. So we want to find that happy medium place, right? If you don't have the bandwidth to do the visuals and you can't hire someone to do that, it may be harder for you to do the PDF or kind of carousel kind of post. And that's fine. Do the other ones that you can do as well as you can do them. Now, there are some things I don't necessarily agree with, like the research shows 25 to 50 words per slide. That is a lot, actually. It's a lot of words per slide. And I wonder if something is kind of skewing that data, like the cheat sheets. So cheat sheets have a lot of words on them, and cheat sheets were doing really well for a while. But that doesn't mean that if you create a slide carousel that you want that many words on every slide. It's just gonna max people out. 12 slides, again, that's great that that's the one that does the best, but that also takes a lot of resources to develop something like that. So you take what you can, you do what you can, and then and you do your best, right? If it's going to take you 3 hours to do a 12 carousel post, you're probably only going to do that once a month, and that's okay. Or you might do shorter ones and see how they do and experiment with yourself and your audience and what you can do, what you can accomplish. The things that I love is that the text and image posts still doing well. Image has got to be something that is easy for people to connect with. So selfies were doing well for a while, and that kind of cooled off, but you still see a human engaging image that will do well versus something that is I do publicity posts, and it's a flyer for an event. Those don't do well, but that's not why I use them, right? I use them to get the word out, and then I mix them in with other types of content that might get more engagement and visibility so that I can do the announcements when I need to do the announcements for my events as well, maybe once a week, once every other week. The other kinds of images that do well in a text and image post is infographics, something that gives somebody quick, great information that is meaningful to them. Now we can dive into the details of every kind of post, but when it comes right down to it, posts that answer your audience's questions or that make them think about something that you know is on the top of their mind anyway, that gives them a little bit extra oomph to what they're thinking about, that's going to win every time. So you really want to be thinking about, what is your client asking you? What are those common questions that you get? And how could you turn those into any kind of post? And then you might even be able to turn them into multiple types of posts and get the most out of them that you can. So text and image posts do well. Document posts do well. Those show up as a carousel, but they're a PDF document is how they're created. And then we're still seeing good text only posts in terms of visibility, but those ones can't be too short. So this is one of the things out of the algorithm report. Those text only posts, you want them to be around 2,000 characters, which is like the full about section. So it's a quite a good amount of content. They do need to be short, snappy paragraphs, easy to skim, easy to look through, but more content on those is doing well again. For a while, that wasn't the case, but now it's interesting. Those text-only posts, the length is back a little bit. So I'd love to hear what you're seeing with your posts, what things come around. Always respond to comments. How would you know the results of the effort? So you're just looking for some of the graphs on the back of your back end in your LinkedIn. You can see your views. And so it's nice to track that. There are a few systems you can use to track your comments, but you can also just do it by looking through your posts. What things are getting a lot of comments? Are you trending more comments? And you can do that once a month, Valerie, just to see what is getting traction for you and how is your traction going. So I know some people, they use the software that you can use to do that. Some people, created their own spreadsheet. You might be able to have a staff member that would be able to do that, go through your posts and just capture the likes, the comments, etc., and drop those into a tracking thing for you if you really want to look at what's doing well and what's not doing well. Yes, people in job search are overwhelmed by career services, especially, of course, if they followed or commented on some of those, they're going to see more of them. And when we talk about commenting on other people's posts or kind of curating your feed, you can curate your feed by what you comment on and what you click on. You can also curate your feed by using a customized search. And we have a video on our YouTube channel that goes through and shows you how to create that customized search. So then when you want to go look at certain posts, you can do that really easily. So I've set up a few customized search, and I save that custom search URL and put it in my calendar and actually get reminders every day to go to a customized search URL and comment on that group of posts. So I've created a customized search for specific groups of people that then I can go in and comment on their posts on a regular basis. I don't have to go profile by profile. I don't have to, hunt and peck around. I don't have to look at my feed. I can just go there and comment on those posts. So I'd highly recommend helping your clients set up those customized search URLs. Just using a search, you can search by posts and you can drop the names of people in that you want to see their posts, or you can search by industry. Some of those things are a little harder, but I've been helping clients do that. I've been helping clients set up custom search URLs, and they're blown away by it. It's something that not very many people are doing or teaching, so you can get a lot really quickly through there. And we've been teaching that in our certified digital branding strategist class for a while. So if you really want to stay up on the latest and greatest, join us in the certified digital branding strategist class, and we'll keep you up to date on everything that is going on in not just LinkedIn, but in digital branding in general, because of course that is our goal, right? Is not just to use LinkedIn, but to figure out how we can help clients use all the available options in the digital sphere and beyond. And in the certified digital branding, of course, we focus on the digital landscape. So when we think about how we help clients use these tools, posting is often the thing that people worry about the most, but it's not where they have to start. So we can start with comments, then we can move into posts. One of the interesting things in the algorithm report too was around sharing. And there's two different ways that you can share posts on LinkedIn. So you can repost, which just reposts it and doesn't really give you very much credit for reposting it. It's like got your name up there at the top, very small, Valerie reposted this. Or you can repost with your comments. And when you repost with your comments, it does get a lower amount of views for you, the reposter, but it does increase your relationship with that person that you're reposting because they can see that you reposted their post. So you can do it a lot of different ways. You can do the quick repost, which I don't recommend because it just doesn't bring any visibility to you at all. You can do the repost with your thoughts, which is great, gives you some opportunity. It's maybe a little minimum visibility, but when your clients are just getting started, it can be a great way to kind of get started and prime the pump. And of course, you can just create a post and talk about the post that you're referring to, and then link to it either in the post, but not letting the preview pop up. So, you'll close out that preview so that it just looks like a text post, even though it has the link in it, or you can put that link in the comments. And more, we've been saying this for a couple of years and the algorithm reports kind of keep sharing it. It's not necessarily the link in your post that's the problem. It's the link preview that causes the problem. And why it causes a problem is because when you put that link preview showing up, like let's say you're going to share an article from Forbes. When you share that article and the preview pops up in your post, people are quickly clicking on that link to go to the article. And so your post doesn't get seen by the algorithm as actually having visibility. People aren't sticking there because they're immediately clicking off to the link. But when you put the link in the post, but then don't allow that preview to come into your post, you just click on a little X and it goes away. Then the link is still there, but people have to read to see the link, and they're more likely to comment because they've got something to respond to in your post. And then when they go to the link, they've got additional information, but they hopefully can respond to your post without going to the link, which is what you want to do. You want to make it so that people can respond to your post without going to the link, because that will increase your engagement and conversation, which is really what the link is kind of the bonus, or maybe the link is your own program or whatever, but they shouldn't have to go there to be able to comment and have a conversation on your posts. That will help you. Now, video. So this is the one thing that's really interesting. So a lot of the social media marketers have been talking about video for a long time. We've been talking about video for a long time, especially in marketing. But one of the things that has happened is now LinkedIn, the video is finally getting some traction on LinkedIn. And what we're seeing in terms of video on LinkedIn is LinkedIn Live. So the algorithm report showed LinkedIn Live getting 25% more engagement than it did last year. So we just had a huge growth in the engagements on LinkedIn Live. Thank you all that are engaging right now here on our LinkedIn Live. We appreciate you. So that allows people to see your page, right? To see either your profile page or your company page. Both of them actually do really well with LinkedIn Live videos. And we're also seeing shorter videos, 1 to 2 minutes, getting more visibility and engagement on LinkedIn in the vertical format, which is kind of interesting because LinkedIn, it looks like the horizontal would do better, but the vertical format videos, like you would post anywhere else on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, those are actually doing well on LinkedIn now. So you can do more with video, which is great because that's what we're looking for in the engagement piece, is to get more video. Now, Neil Patel does a lot of marketing work and a lot of research around marketing. And his latest report showed that video had the 3 out of the top 4 spots for engaging content. So short form video, long form video, then I think it's reels or something is the 3rd spot. And then the 4th was live video. So 3 out of the top 4 for engagement is video. Why? Because you can have like this kind of engagement, right? And because people are more likely to like or comment on video on a lot of other platforms. And now we see LinkedIn kind of catching up to that. So some of you using video, oh, hi, Wendy, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Increase in views when you comment on other people's posts. Yes. And having those conversations. So I'm dropping the link in here for our digital branding program. If you're interested, that starts in April, so it's a little ways away, that digital branding program. And then we are having a session just coming up on Monday, March 4th, which is kind of fun, right? March 4th, we're having a session with Tanya Smith, who does a lot around video for coaches. She's going to be talking about how to use video and how to use it in a way that doesn't feel so overwhelming or intimidating, because I know that is a challenge for a lot of us, just to do video in a way that feels natural and that we can do in our way, right? So she's going to be talking about how to do video your way, video for massive business growth. And Tanya is just amazing. She's been around our audience for a long time. In fact, if you drop a comment here, whether you're watching us live or you come back and watch the replay, if you drop a comment with hashtag video, so a little hashtag video, I will send you one of the older sessions that Tanya did for us on snack size content. So she did a video for us on snack size content a few years. It's awesome. It's still very relevant. So just drop that hashtag video and I'll send you that link to watch the session with Tanya on snack size video or snack size content. Yeah, you can create on the CTL or RWA page and then share that on LinkedIn. That's perfectly fine. You can also create an article on LinkedIn. So in the algorithm report, Richard talks about articles. So articles are in LinkedIn when you go and do that as a separate, and now they kind of automatically start a newsletter for you, which is great. You don't posting an article without creating a newsletter. I would just start a newsletter if you're going to do that. Start a newsletter, post an article, and articles get they're kind of on the lower end in terms of views, because you really do want to share them in a post. So whether you create that article on LinkedIn and then share it as a post, or you create the article somewhere else, like the Resume Writing Academy site or your own site, and share it on LinkedIn, there's kind of pros and cons. When you post it on LinkedIn, it can get indexed, although I don't know how that will work now that they've started to decrease the visibility of individual profiles in Google search results. I don't know if that'll impact articles on LinkedIn or not, but you can put it on LinkedIn or you can put it elsewhere, but you've got to post about it. You've got to get it out there in other ways, or you really won't get much traffic. Yeah. The Resume Writing Academy website articles are too easy for people to spam you. So we're working on that. Actually, I'm meeting with the website guy on Friday to talk about that and how we can stop some of that, make it harder for people to do that through that comments on that site. Maybe just turn the comments off. Excellent. Thank you for dropping video. Love it. Excellent. Yeah. Yay. Okay. So the other thing that I pulled out of the algorithm report is when you think about the types of posts, they kind of come and go as LinkedIn experiments with things, but polls are still doing pretty well. But you want to do a poll that people want to see how other people are answering it. Because I don't know about you, but the main reason I answer a poll on LinkedIn is to see how everyone else has answered it. So you've got to come up with that question of what will my audience want to see how everyone else is answering it. Now, cheat here, a little cheat is to use ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT for poll questions that you could ask your audience on LinkedIn. The better you are at defining your audience, which we've done some of the work there that goes through how to have ChatGPT define your audience for you, or Gemini, really doesn't matter. Gemini or ChatGPT are probably the best. free versions are fine. But if you give it some great information about your audience, who are they, what role do they hold, and ask it to share their challenges, their goals, all of those things, double check it, add in things, then ask it to write some poll questions for you. And you'll be amazed at what it comes up with. But you want to filter those with that mindset of what would my audience want to see, what their peers are saying, because that's the number one way you get people to engage in your poll, is to create a question that people want to see what others are answering. And polls are still doing pretty well. The documents are doing well still. And then text and image posts, video actually doing well as well there. So when you look at the different types of posts, one, it's really about doing a variety so that you can engage different types of people. And two, seeing what does well for you with your audience. Three, making sure that that content is answering your clients' questions. And it doesn't have to answer them in that, they wouldn't need anything else from you, but you want to give them a few nuggets, a few things that they can take away, or even a deep question that they can ponder that will help them, those zinger coaching questions, right? And then you want to get engaged on the platform, having conversations with people who are in and around your target audience. So finding people who are in your target audience who are posting that you can have conversations with, having conversations in the comments on those posts, on company posts, if there are some in your target industries, and getting that conversation going, because that's going to come back to your posts as well and build the visibility for you. And of course, when you think about, it's not, we're not talking about building a pod, because it's not, hey, when you post at 8 a.m., I'll come and comment. That kind of coordinated effort can get you in trouble with LinkedIn, but it's more that organic of, hey, I see your comment on my post, so I'm going to click on you and go over and see your posts, and I will likely comment there because I want to have a conversation back and forth with you. A lot of our clients might not be able to have some of that conversation, but it's interesting, as I've been talking to them and we start getting into it, they're like, oh yeah, there's people in my industry having industry conversations that I could join in on. And it doesn't necessarily have to look like I'm job searching. It can look like I am thought leadership building. And that's really what we want for them to be doing anyways. It's long-term, it's big picture. There are some really specific things we can do when you got to find a job fast. But when we've got more time, the long-term relationship building and thought leadership visibility building can really go a long way. And I know that that's what some of you are working on, folks, with. And of course, that's what we teach in our digital branding class. So I love talking about this stuff. I think there's so much that we can use LinkedIn to do. And I hope that you'll join the conversation. We're going to keep talking about LinkedIn. We're going to be talking about, well, not LinkedIn, but digital branding in general. Obviously, it's an important part of what we do, and it's becoming even more important as we get more global in the work that we do. So as I say that, I'll just drop this link one more time to join us for the symposium in Lisbon. If you're thinking about it and you have questions, drop me a note. Happy to answer questions or connect you to one of our speakers, board members, or other attendees that can answer those questions from a more, peer perspective rather than from my perspective. So thank you, everyone. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe so that you get those notifications every week. We'll see you next Tuesday for our Trend Tuesday Live.